Hello, this is David with LumenCache, and today I'm going to be showing you how to set up IoT MQTT Panel on your phone so that you can control your ReNetA system remotely. So first, you're going to go over to your App Store or Play Store and search up IoT MQTT Panel. It'll be this one right here. We're going to press Install. There is a Pro version that you can install instead that has backup feature and no ads, but we'll just use the base version for now. We're going to press Open. When you received your ReNetA system, you should have also received an email that has your login credentials to control your system remotely. So that email will be topic something along the lines of MQTT Credentials, and it will have a table in it that looks something like this. This is everything that you're going to copy and then paste into in your app over here. So we're going to go back into IoT MQTT panel and press set up a connection. All right. So connection name, that'll just be whatever we want our house to be called. So we'll just say demo. Client ID, we're going to leave that empty. Broker address, we're going to copy it from host on our email and paste it there. Make sure there's no spaces before or after this. It's very important. Next, come over here to network protocol, press TCP-SSL, and that'll change the port to the correct number. These are the settings you should have in manage SSL configuration, just the default. We're going to add two dashboards. We're going to make one that'll be called lights and one that's called commands. We actually want lights to be our home. Next, we're going to go to additional options, and you're going to put in your username and password. We're going to set keep alive to 300 if it's not already. Autoconnect and clean session on, and we're going to press create. You'll see a orange cloud if it's connected, and your LumenCache system is connected to Wi-Fi or your LAN, and we'll go into it. Next, we're going to set up our dashboard with its correct prefix topic. So we're going to come here to dashboard configurations in the top right in the hamburger. And this is where you're going to paste that prefix topic from your email. And it's very important that there's no spaces before or after it here. In the very end of this, you're also going to want to put a slash if there isn't one already. Make sure you don't add this, it's very important. So go back to the front of it, make sure that there's no spaces. Looks like we're good. And we're going to do the same with commands. And add the slash again. All right. Next up, we're going to set up our zone. So we'll say add a panel here, and we'll make a slider for our zone. And we'll say zone 200 is all of our lights. So all lights. We could say like zone 200. This is just for our own reference. Here for topic, we're going to send it a command. So you're going to type CMD. If you didn't put that slash at the end of the dashboard prefix, then you're going to type /CMD. I'm going to do that every time that it says topic. But since we already did it, we'll type just CMD. Payload minimum, that'll be 0 because 0 is an off light and 100 is maximum brightness for the light. Slider step, that's what increment it goes up and down by. We'll say just 1. We'll keep it horizontal, we'll keep it blue. We'll press payload as JSON data, and we're going to write our command here and we're going to put the payload in it where the brightness should be. So I'll post a simple list of commands that you can use, but one that's simple that we can start with is a simple zone command. So we'll type E56, which means a control zone command. We're going to say our zone 200, which we've already set prior, and then brightness, BRI, and we're going to insert this payload, and then we're going to close. Inputting this pulls from here where it says payload min and payload max. So it's important to put this within the carets, leave everything else here the same, and press create. Now we have a simple slider to set the lights to anywhere that we want to, all the way bright, all the way dim, or all the way dim. Next up, we can set up our command windows. So this will allow you to do system commissioning on the go. So you don't even need to use MQTT Explorer if you don't want to. You could do an entire setup from your phone. So we'll press add a panel. We'll do text output. We'll say events. And this will have just everything in our event window. Again, if you didn't before, type / before the word event here. And we'll press create. Now this window will start showing us anything that is pressed, like if any buttons are pressed. We can set up another one that is, move that off. That is the status window. I'm going to write status here. Nice. And then we're going to add one more called meta. If it's empty here, that's because we spelled something wrong. So we can come back here. It's not event, it's events. And now you should see it will populate with information. All right. So this is telling us what just happened with the system, if someone pressed an input or if something has changed. Status will show what the system is currently doing. And meta shows you what devices are plugged in or unplugged. And that's where you can find your G numbers for a device and your hardware serial numbers for something when plugged in or unplugged. Oftentimes you can see that in the status window as well. So next up, we want to add a way so that we can actually type in our commands of our own. So we're going to press add, and we're going to put in a text input, and we'll call this one commands. And this one's topic is CMD. So now if we type anything to this commands window, it will push it for the system. So we could say that we want to turn on a zone. So we'd say like E56, Z200, brightness, or BRI 100. And when we press that, it will send that command. All right. Next up, we can come back here to our lights panel, and we're going to add a way that we can do color tuning for all of our lights. So we'll press plus, go to slider, panel name, we're going to say all lights color tuning. Topic, Once again, that's CMD. You forgot it before in the slash, but we know you didn't. Payload minimum, we're going to set that to the minimum range of our lights. So if we got a light that has a range of 2200 to 5000, we're going to make payload minimum 2200 Kelvin, payload maximum 5000 Kelvin. And because these numbers are so big, we will make the slider steps increments of 100. We'll set our slider color to yellow to differentiate it. We'll say payload is JSON data, and here's where we're going to say E56, which means command to zone, zone 200, and we're going to type CCT, which is the color tuning command, and we're going to put the payload in here, payload, and we're going to close that out. Now we can go ahead and create that here, and we have our color tuning, and you can see it does increments of 100. Well, this one does increments of 1. All right. These two look like they should be a single button because they're both on zone 200. So we'll come up here to the top right on these three buttons here. Press merge bottom on the top one and merge top on the bottom one. Now this looks like one big button here, one big panel for us to know that this is all the zone 200 stuff. Next, we can add something like a switch. This would be a toggle. So we're going to say all lights on and off, or whatever you'd like to call it. Topic, CMD. Payload on, we're going to say is 100. Payload off is going to be 0. And then payload is JSON data. The JSON pattern for publish, we're going to write that in as our E56 command again to control the zone. Z200. Brightness or BRI. And we'll put the payload in there. So we know that we're working with brightness. Maximum 100. When it's off, it's 0. If you wanted it to be like dim, you could put 50 on the payload on or something like that. So we'll press create. Now we've got a toggle switch to turn on and off the lights. Finally, I'm going to show you how to use a button. So we'll press button up here and we'll say turn off all lights. This is great for if you have left home and realize you left them all on. We'll type CMD. Payload, we're just going to set to 0. Payload is JSON data. And we're going to write that command that we've been writing. E56, zone 200. Brightness. And then payload. And we'll press create. Now we have a big turn off all lights button. So if you're ever away from home, you can be sure that that happens. All right. So this is basically how you set up each one of your panels. You can do that for individual devices. Say if you wanted to control a specific socket card and you know it's GID or it's HSN, you could write that here. We could say living room surface mount. That's the light that we're working with. Topic, CMD. Payload minimum, 0. Maximum 100. JSON data. Pattern for publish would be E57, which is control a specific socket card. instead of E56, which is control specific zone. G, say we know that from the events window where we turned on a light, or when we plugged in a switch, or when we plugged in a socket card, we saw the G number there as well. We can write like 50 if that's what it was, and then BRI payload. And we'll press create. And now we've got an individual light on to off. And if you come over here into commands, you can see what I was talking about with the G28. That's that specific device that was plugged in most recently, and the HSN. That is the hardware serial number of that device. And um, if we wanted to set that command to be E57 to control that specific socket card, we could change the G from a Z to G and say 28, brightness 100, and we could push that command to turn on that light for that socket card. Alternatively, we could copy the HSN from here and just paste that whole string into here. Yeah, if you've got any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments below. Have fun.